What's up, everyone? I want to talk a little bit about the power of reading and why reading is so crucial to just all kinds of facets of life. I think for me, as far as just like a credentialing process, currently I'm a doctoral student, I have a master's, I have two bachelors, and school has always kind of come easy to me. And I don't say that to brag, I just say that like as a legitimate thing. Like I remember when I was a junior in high school, they awarded me the National Honor Society something. And when they called my name, it was in front of a bunch of people. I was just, everybody was like looking at me like, there's no way. This guy, the guy that's like sleeping half the day and, seems like he's never paying attention. And that's just because things just came easy to me. And I've always told people, and I always attribute it to the fact that I was a big reader as a kid. And I've always felt a special connection to books. Reading does so much for you, aside from just like building empathy with other people because you're like kind of in the minds of the people who are writing the material. But reading is just so imperative to your success in terms of verbally articulating what you want to do with clarity to other people, or getting up in front of a group of people and just having a good faculty of the English language, or whatever it may be. Reading is just a very good practical tool that you can use to further yourself in whatever endeavor you're embarking in. And here's the thing, it's also just a very good leisure activity. Reading just calms the heart rate, it calms the mind, it reduces stress. There are so many benefits to reading that I don't know why people don't just engage with it more. And I think it's because of, social media. But when it wasn't social media, it was just people were watching TV, whether it was Nickelodeon or, the news or whatever. People prefer that instant, somebody else is talking to me about something. It's more entertainment seeking than it is kind of, you have to process each word with your eyes. And it's almost kind of like a workout for your mind. And so I can kind of see why people would veer away from it. But there are just so many benefits to reading. It's literally a superpower in any kind of intellectual endeavor that you might partake in. And so you might not have an intellectually demanding job. Maybe you're just general labor, or maybe school was never for you, but it's still important to read because it helps you communicate with your fellow man, your fellow woman, your fellow human being. And if anything else I can tell people is just the ability to articulate and to be clear and to get points across and to be persuasive and influential is so valuable in whatever domain that you find yourself in, that it's just a no-brainer to pick up a book and to start reading. And you don't have to pick anything that's extremely difficult. You can pick general, popular books that, you just walk into a Barnes and Noble and it's probably like the first book that you see. Whether it's a president or somebody talking about their time in office, or, Magic Treehouse book. Those were some of the first books I ever read. It can be something that's fiction. It could be something that's nonfiction. Whatever piques your fancy, I would suggest getting on that, because you'll find that you begin to think more clearly. You begin to have less, resistance when it comes to talking. And the words just kind of, and I would even say it increases your ability to be humorous, to be clever, to be witty, to engage in banter, to go back and forth with other people in a way that's like, wow, this guy, he's well read. And that's because you are well read. And again, they say readers are leaders, because most CEOs and billionaires, they read, I think it's like one book a week on average, something like that. You don't have to go to that extent. I think it's Jim Rohn, the motivational speaker. He says all you need is 30 minutes a day. But even if it's 10 minutes a day, you'll find that these small incremental changes will compound over time, whether it's in knowledge accumulation or just an increased faculty of the human language, of the English language, that is. And so reading is just such an important thing to do. And there's so many wonderful books out there. I've recently gotten into like some of the classics. Like I just finished the book Moby Dick. And that was interesting to read, not because the guy, Herman Melville, the author, wrote such extensive, material on the different anatomy parts of a whale and whatnot, but it was because it was just written in a way that was kind of a challenge, and it was using words in different places and conjunctions and prepositions that I'm not accustomed to. And so it was just kind of like this fun little game that I was playing as I was reading through it. So you don't have to pick, again, I would think that'd be more of a difficult read for somebody who's just starting out, but you could pick anything from your self-help, self-development, or psychology, or business, or again, fiction. Fiction's a lot of fun too. Like I read The Hobbit and The Fellowship of the Ring. I'm looking forward to get to the second and third of that series, even though I've already seen the movies. But again, the books are always so much more deep, and there's a lot of things that you miss when you watch a movie if you haven't read the books. And I kind of think back to like Harry Potter, like the books and the movies it's like night and day. The general idea is there, but it's kind of night and day. And so again, reading is just so important for your success, whether it's financial, whether it's academic, whether it's social, whether it's anything, even health, physical health. Again, it lowers your heart rate, it makes you think clear, it relaxes you, and it's just something that you can just put into your day to make the day go a lot more, to basically gain back hours, to make it more effective. And once you notice how you communicate to other people and how much more richer your communication becomes with other people because you've started reading, you're never going to want to go back, because you'll feel a little bit more dull if you just scroll through TikTok as your only form of knowledge accumulation, or if you just watch binge shows, if you just binge shows on like Netflix or something. You're not working on that skill, you're not working on that muscle in your brain that basically can deal with word after word after word, paragraphs, retain information, and then be able to, I guess you could say, regurgitate it back to somebody else. Those valuable skills are important when somebody like challenges you with a question, or it's an important debate or something like that, or you have to public speak for whatever reason. So there's just so much value in reading that I would never look down upon it. There's really no negatives to it. And if you don't like reading the traditional way with like hardcover or paperback, you can always do audiobooks, because that's a similar process. You're learning a lot and it's very relaxing. And if you want to go faster, you can increase the speed of it as well, which is something you can't necessarily do the traditional way unless you take speed reading courses, and then you're just whipping through, and it's like photographic memory at that point. But I digress. Anyways, reading is super important. There's a lot of power behind it. My biggest takeaway from it is that it just increases my ability to communicate with other people, and I love socializing, and I love interacting with other people. So that's just a huge improvement. Just kind of like going to the gym will help you with all kinds of other daily tasks. Reading will help you with all kinds of social tasks as well. So pick up a book. It can be any kind of book that you want that, again, piques your fancy, and you're going to have an amazing, amazing time. And you'll learn that it's not just for the leisure, it's also for the endless benefits to come afterwards. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'll see you in the next one.